is an awesome Monday morning at the 9th of December 2024, and the time is exactly 1 minute past the hour of 10 o'clock. Greetings to you, the GIC community, within and beyond the borders of the Republic of Namibia, and welcome to your Monday morning edition of the Office's Ministries and Agencies Information Sharing Session. Coming to you live from the Government Information Center studio with me, Helene Philippus Hamunyela. Now, on the menu this morning, we are talking designated employers, reporting of vacancies, and regulating private employment agencies. And I'm joined in the studio by officials from the Ministry of Labor, Industrial Relations, and Employment Creation. And they are here to help shed more light on this morning's topic of discussion. Now, here at the GIC, our viewers and listeners play an integral role in our daily discussions. And to that effect, I'd like to pause here and invite you, Namibia, to be part of this discussion by following the conversation on our social media platforms, where we are currently streaming this show live. Now, on Facebook, we are at Ministry of Information and Communications Technology, or if you are a YouTuber, you can alternatively stream us live on our YouTube channel, and our handle there is MICT Namibia. Be part of this discussion by adding your questions in the comment sections on our social media platforms. Now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please help me welcome officially my studio guests for this morning. I am joined on my immediate left by Mr. Leonard Philemon. He's an acting senior employment officer in the Ministry of Labor, Industrial Relations, and Employment Creation. Mr. Leonard, once again, good morning and welcome to the GIC.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for welcoming me.
Right. I'm also joined by Ms. Ludvila Nace. I hope I pronounced your surname correct. She is an employment officer in the latter ministry. Good morning, Ms. Nace, and welcome to the Government Information Center.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Right. Now, Mr. Leonard, I'd like to start with you. According to the Namibia Employment Service Act, who are the designated employers, or better yet, what defines them?
The designated employer in terms of the Employment Services Act, these are employers with more than 10 employees and above. Mm-hmm. So they are the ones that we consider them as designated employers.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So somebody below the number of 10 is not considered as an a designated employer.
We call them prospective employers.
Okay.
So we have two terms, designated employer and prospective employers.
Okay.
Designated employers, they are the one with 10 employees and above, and then prospective employers, those are employers with less than 10 employees.
Okay, it's good to learn. So prospective employers and designated employers.
Yes.
Okay, right. Now, Mr. Leonard, away from the definition, in accordance to Employment Service Act, what are the designated employers required to do, or better yet, their roles or duties and responsibilities?
The designated employers, they are required to notify the Employment Services Bureau to report vacancies on what is called NIES, which is standing for Namibia Integrated Employment Information System. Okay. This system is enacted from Employment Services Act, Act number 8 of 2011, and is there to collect, store, and update information concerning the name, qualifications, and occupations of the job seekers, keeping records of the specialized skill possessed by Namibians and non-Namibian citizens, as well as to keep the records of employers. So the records of employers, those are just vacancies and their structure, like the employees that they have to be captured on the system to keep the track changes of their employment process within their companies or within the ministries.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now, Ms. Nace, now that we know the definition of designated employers and we've set the distinction apart from prospective employers, talk to us about the compliance of these designated employers. Are they compliant to the aforementioned requirements that was mentioned by Mr. Leonard?
Only some of them.
Only some of them?
Yes.
Okay, so, okay, maybe let me hold on to this one. And then I have a follow-up question for you, Ms. Nays. How do designated employers report vacancies, for example?
Through manual form, we call EAS 3A, and through NACE portal.
Okay, all right. Mr. Leonard, how long does it take before employers can actually get feedback from the Bureau or NIS?
Normally, the Act what is stipulating minimum 14 days.
Okay.
Yeah, minimum is 14 days.
Okay.
So they are required to get feedback from the Bureau.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Mr. Leonard, I'm sticking with you. Of course, I want to find out what challenges is your office experiencing in dealing with designated employers?
The most challenges that we are experiencing at the Bureau is some of the employers, they are failing to notify the Bureau on time, and they are not willing to submit the documents as they are required by the Act. Okay. So that can lead for them to face some of the sanction, although we are not yet pose any sanction on any employers, but in few times to come, so the ministry might pose those sanctions and for non-complying employers.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, having mentioned sanctions, just for the benefit of our viewers and listeners, when you say sanctions to these designated employers, what are some of the sanctions that can actually be, given to the designated employers that may find themselves on the other side of the law?
The sanctions, the Act indicate 20,000 or 2 years in prison.
20,000 Namibian dollars?
Yes, 20,000 Namibian dollars.
Okay.
Or 2 years in prison, or both sanctions can be applied at the same time.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Namibia, if you are just tuning in, you are tuned into the Offices, Ministries and Agencies Information Sharing Session. And as always, we are coming to you live from the Government Information Center studio, and that is with me, Heleni Felepa Samuela. And as earlier mentioned, this morning we are talking designated employers, reporting of vacancies, and regulating private employment agencies. And I am joined in the studio by Mr. Leonard Philemon. He is an acting senior employment officer at the Ministry of Labor, Industrial Relations and Employment Creation. And I am also joined by Ms. Ludvila Nays. She's an employment officer in the latter ministry. Now, you too can be part of this discussion by following the conversation on our social media platforms, where we are currently streaming this show live. On Facebook, we are at Ministry of Information and Communications Technology, or alternatively, you can stream us live on our YouTube channel, and our handle there is MICT Namibia. I'm eager to hear from you and also find out what questions you have for my studio guest. And you can do so or add your voice to this conversation by posting your questions in the comment sections on our social media platforms. Now, back to our discussion, Ms. Nays, I'd like to find out from you, what punitive measures are in place for offenders who, I know that Mr. Leonard earlier on mentioned about the sanctions. Apart from the sanctions, what other punitive measures are in place? For example, do they cease operating while they are being sanctioned, or do they continue, operating?
Only sanctions 20,000 of both.
Okay, and that's it.
Yes.
So while they are being sanctioned, they continue operating as business as usual. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And now, Mr. Leonard, there is something that a term that I came across, a private employment agency. According to the Namibia Labor Act, who is a private employment agency?
The private employment agency, this labor hires. They were previously called the labor hires organization.
Okay.
They run employment administration
Okay.
as employment services bureau, but them they operate as private. And what the bureau do, they regulate these private employment agencies to make sure that they are not charging job seekers, and to ensure that they are in line with the Employment Services Act. Basically, they are being regulated by the bureau by issuing them a license, and ensure that they are in accordance with the act. So basically, we issue them with a license and conduct inspection to ensure that they are not charging job seekers, and if there is any, so anyone who is becoming anyone who is
Non-compliance?
or non-compliance, or basically maybe is being charged by this private employment agency, they are welcome to report it to the ministry so that we can do further investigation, conduct inspection. If we are finding out that they are not complying, we deregister them and then confiscate their license and ensure that they are not operating.
Okay.
Yes.
To ensure that I understood you correctly, the private employment agencies are not by all means supposed to charge anybody who comes to them with the hope of getting an employment or securing an employment.
Yeah, they are not required to charge the job seekers.
Okay.
The fees that they can charge it from employers to whom they are rendering the service to.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So they are only required to charge the employers because of the service that they are providing to that employer,
Okay.
but not the job seekers.
Okay, because I was
Yes.
about to ask, then how are they going to be in business if they can't? How do they make their income or profit? But you just answered my question. Of course, they are compensated by the employers
Yes.
whom they are providing service to.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Mr. Leonard, I am sticking with you. How does this private employment agencies register for them to be registered with the ministry?
There is a form that they have to fill in, whereby they submit their founding statement, and they pay a fee of $50 Namibian to finance department at the ministry. And then from there, we start now the process to ensure that they are having an office where they are operating to. And then we submit all the documents to the director for the signature of their license. And then upon the issuing of the license, they have to pay $200 for their license.
Okay, I just want to ensure that I understand. So the amount of money that they pay to the ministry, how much is that again for the benefit of our viewers and listeners who are actually tuned in at the moment?
For the application of the license, they pay $50 Namibian.
Okay, so for the application is 50.
Yes, and then once we review now their founding statement, and then we see that their activities that they are doing, they are in line with what the private employment agency is required to do. So upon now the issuing to give them a license,
Yes.
so they have to pay $200 Namibian. In total is $250.
Right.
Yes.
For the application and the license.
The issuing of the license.
Okay, being issued.
Yes.
Okay. No, that's duly noted. But I'm keen to know, can you give me an example of a private employment agency in Namibia? Do we have some here?
Yeah, we have many of them, especially here in Windhoek. We have Elite.
Oh,
Elite Employment Services.
Okay.
Job Unlimited.
Oh, Jobs Unlimited.
Yes.
Okay.
APS.
APS.
African Personnel Services.
Elevate? Is Elevate also part of
also
them?
Elevate.
Okay.
Yeah, so all those, we consider them as a private employment agency. And there are more than, I think, the total number of the registered private employment agency, there are 50. There are 50. 64.
Here.
64.
64 here
Yes.
in Namibia?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Countrywide.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. All right, it's good to know. Now, Ms. Nis, I'm back at you. What are the main compliance issues or concerns with the private employment agencies?
It's the charging of job seekers.
The charging of job seekers. So even after being informed that it's against the law to charge, they still charge. You find some that still charge.
Yes.
Okay.
They're still charging.
Okay. All right. Now, Mr. Leonard, what is the punishment for offenders or non-compliance? I'm not sure whether this is now in accordance to the employers, because I think in the beginning we spoke about the employers. Now it's offenders. This offenders, but in this case, in this context, I think it can only mean the private employment agencies who are charging, job seekers. What is their how do they get punished for this non-compliance?
They have the same sanctions, like the one for employers, which is 20,000 or 2 years in prison, or both sanctions can be applied at the same time. So they are all having both sanctions. So the act, that's what it stipulating.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, of course, we've learned about the charging fees already. It was mentioned here, 20,000 or 2 years in prison, or both can actually be simultaneously applied. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for availing yourself this morning to come and educate us on the designated employers, reporting of vacancies, as well as regulating private employment agencies in Namibia. We appreciate your time and effort for coming to educate us.
Thank you for welcoming us. So it was a very good session for sharing this information.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now, thank you so much. Now, Namibia, that is all the time we had for today's discussion. Please do join us again tomorrow when we bring you another fruitful discussion here at the GIC. From myself, Heleni Felapesamunyela, and the entire GIC production crew, have a productive week ahead.